Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video. Have a bit of a chat about what has happened in Spain over the last week or so as far as news is concerned. Now I'm outdoors today. It's a windy day. That's why I've got a hat on so my hair doesn't blow away. Very, very windy and also a little bit wet as well. Yesterday was a very wet day here in Madrid. In fact, one of the wettest days on record, I believe. It rained all day. Not really usual for this part of Spain, of course. We get storms, but we don't normally get these days where it rains all day. But yesterday was one of those days, and today a little bit cloudy and rain looks as though it is just over there. So hopefully while I'm recording this video it won't rain. Now straight into the news, and the story that has been dominating the press in Spain over the last week or so, well, it's been dominating the press in Spain for about the last 5 years, and this is the story about the Catalonian self-determination referendum that some people in Catalonia want. And of course it's on the negotiation table at the moment because Pedro Sánchez, the caretaker Prime Minister, needs the support of the Catalonians. If he wants to sit in government for another 4 years, he needs the support of these Catalonian parties. There are two main political parties in Catalonia that want a referendum. One is called ERC, which is the Republican left of Catalonia, and the other one is called Junts per Catalunya, which is Together for Catalonia. One is on the left side of politics, the extreme left side of politics, and the other one is on the right side of politics and is led by a guy called Carles Puigdemont, who, as we know, is Spain's #1 fugitive and currently residing in Belgium. But anyway, they want a referendum around 2027, 2028, I think. And yesterday, the president of the Catalonian parliament, Pere Aragonès, was in Madrid trying to put forward his point of view in front of the other 16 autonomous community presidents. So firstly, they have to convince Spain, then they will have to convince Europe if they want a referendum. And of course, there are a lot of questions around this referendum. What would happen as far as Catalonia is concerned in the European Union? Would they have to wait to rejoin the European Union? I've got no idea. And how many people in Catalonia actually want a referendum? Well, I did some research, and in the last general elections, the ERC party, which is the Catalonian Republican Left Party, got 1.9% of the national vote. I'll repeat that again, 1.9% of the national vote. And in Catalonia, for example, in Barcelona, they got 12.33% of the vote. And in Lleida, which is another province in Catalonia, they got 18.62% of the vote. And that's where they are most popular. But if we compare that with 2019 figures, for example, in Lleida, it's down from 32%, and in Barcelona, it's also down from 21% in 2019. So only 12.33% of people in Barcelona voting for this Republican left party that wants a referendum on self-determination. And when it comes to the other political party that I mentioned before, Mr. Puigdemont's party, Junts, they got 1.6% of the national vote, okay, all of Spain taken into consideration there. Barcelona, only 9% of the vote, and in Lleida, 18% of the vote, down from 22 in 2019 and 11% in Barcelona in 2019. So losing popularity, both of those parties. And if we put the two parties together, for example, the ERC vote in Lleida, 18%, and the Junts vote in Lleida, 18%, that's 36% of people in that province voted for these two separatist parties. So far from a majority when it comes to a referendum. So I don't know what the story is there. But anyway, first the Catalans have to convince the central government here in Madrid, and I imagine they will also have to convince Europe when it comes to this referendum. So it's not going to be easy, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, despite what is dominating headlines in Spain at the moment. But again, that's just my opinion. Now, the second piece of news that has been dominating the press in Spain over the last week or so is the disagreement between government parties. Over the last 4 years, there have been endless disagreements between the PSOE side of the government and the Podemos side of the government. They can't really agree on many things, but they're still together. They're still holding on because, as we know, these people are desperate for power and they're desperate to hold on to these positions. But they have different points of view on certain things, and currently Party, they're disagreeing over what's happening in Israel and Palestine, the conflict that is going on in that part of the world. The Podemos Party has come out and said some very harsh words against Israel. In fact, the Israeli embassy here in Madrid put out a statement the other day criticizing the government, why they're not on the same page and what's going on with this type of language. And Pedro Sanchez and his side of the government has also been a little bit quiet on this front. But again, these two parties not agreeing. Now, we know that Podemos currently is basically a dead political party. They're holding on to whatever power they can at the moment, because we saw in the last general elections that they didn't get a lot of support. They were overtaken by another left-wing coalition called Sumar, who's also putting their point of view out there on this Israeli-Palestine conflict. But hey, that's politics in Spain. Even though these parties are in power together, as I said, they have been there for the last 4 years in power, they don't agree on a lot of things, because it's very difficult. I'm realizing that the left side of politics agrees on everything. People have very diverse opinions, and sometimes this diversity of opinion can lead to conflicts, which we're seeing at the moment. But don't expect anybody to resign. Don't expect anybody to stand down, because, as I said, they want to hold on to that power and ministerial jobs, because let's be honest, I don't think these people will ever get a job similar to that in their lives when they're out of politics. But again, that's just my opinion. Now, another piece of news that has caught my attention in the press over the last week or so are some comments by the opposition leader, Mr. Núñez Feijóo. He said the other day that in his opinion, Spain was heading down the path of the former Yugoslavia, breaking up with all of these internal problems that we have at the moment with the Basque Country, with Catalonia, with Galicia. Well, Galicia not really, but they've been thrown into the mix here because some people in those autonomous communities here in Spain want them to be recognized as nations. They want the Basque Country to be recognized as a nation. They want Catalonia to be recognized as a nation. They want Galicia to be recognized as a nation. And according to Mr. Feijóo, this is bad, and he thinks that perhaps there is a balkanization process. I'll say that word again, a balkanization process going on here in Spain, where those areas will separate, and who knows what that could lead to. Hopefully it won't lead to the same situation that happened in the Balkans some 20 or 30 years ago. Don't know exactly how long ago, but we saw that Yugoslavia was broken, and it led to armed conflict there. So I don't know whether Mr. Feijóo's words are a little bit over the top, but as I said during the week, he put it out there. And it's not the first time that I've heard something similar. I think 10 years ago, I read in The Economist magazine a similar story. They were also talking about the balkanization of Spain, and a very difficult country is Spain to hold together. And another thing that we saw yesterday in the Parliament here in Madrid, or in the Senate here in Madrid, when Mr. Aragonés was speaking, is that he mentioned the Catalonian nation numerous times. He said, "We are a nation, we are a nation, we are a nation," and that's where the argument lies. Are Catalonia and the Basque Country nations, or are they autonomous communities that form part of Spain? That's the question. But anyway, as I said, Mr. Feijóo put it out there, and he got a fair bit of reaction to his comments. And the final story that caught my attention this week was in the British press, an article about Spain, somebody saying that the Mediterranean area is now too hot for them to go on holidays there. They were complaining about the heat waves that that part of Spain has experienced over the last couple of summers. They said before there was no dramas. They went to that part of Spain, had a fantastic holiday, went to the beach, enjoyed the climate down there, but the last 2 summers have been too hot. And this is a story that has been building over the last couple of years with these heat waves that Spain has been experiencing, very, very hot temperatures, and also the night temperatures have been a bit of a problem. And it is a situation that a lot of people here in Spain find themselves in. It's not only foreign tourists that enjoy that part of Spain. There are a lot of foreign tourists that go to that part of Spain and enjoy the weather because they come from the north of Europe, where, as we know, summer weather isn't always the best. So they're looking for a sunny holiday. But lots of people here in Spain invested in property on that Mediterranean coast in the past. The story also spoke about that, about how this woman's husband, they go down there with the in-laws. They've been doing that for the last 30 years, or ever since her husband was a child. He's been going to this place for holidays, but recent summers have been too hot. And somebody left in the comment section, it doesn't worry them because they're looking forward to good weather. And I suppose that's what it's all about. Maybe that type of weather is too hot for you, but maybe for another person, it is just perfect. But speaking from a personal point of view, and I have been speaking about this for the last couple of years, because not only was last summer very, very hot, but the previous summer, the 2022 summer, for me was an absolute killer. And again, it was those nighttime temperatures. So if you are planning to come and live in Spain, or if you're planning to holiday in Spain next summer, keep that in mind, or you never know, maybe the weather next summer will be completely different. I've got no idea. On that note, I'm going to wrap this video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. If you have an opinion on anything that I have spoken about today, the comment section is the place for you. Hasta luego from this part of Spain.